So hello and welcome back to the Potted RV. This is going to be a fairly short video. It's a bit earlier than I had hoped to do, but I will be out of town over the weekend. So I have to get these guys planted before I leave so that they're in the irrigation. I've half tempted on, and I might do it. I might just lay the seedling pods, at least for the burpees one. I might lay those in. I'll show you why here in a minute. This experiment has only managed to prove to me even more why, if you're going to purchase one of these disposable seed starting trays, even though it's a bit more expensive, I would still advise to go with the burpees one. I'm not advising going with either of them. I don't like either of them. But the burpees one is a better one to go with. Now I'm going to bring you down so you can see why that is. Let's click down here. And so this one right here, that I'm bringing into the camera view now, I can make sure I have room for the other one too. This one is the burpees one. Now, I can see, these are onions, I do believe. Yeah, these are Tokyo long onions. And this is the reason why I tell people, even what you see online, don't throw seeds away. These seeds are 8 years old. And I do have very definite sprouting. They take longer because they're older seeds, but there's definite sprouts. You give them enough time, you're still going to have some viability out of them. You're not going to have anywhere near what it would have been had they been a year old, but you are going to have some. So these seedlings are all much smaller than I would normally want to plant down in the ground when I'm doing seedling trays like this, but they're still, with the exception of a few. Now I've had to thin these guys out, which these guys are the mescaline. This mescaline came from Botanical Interest, as they do a thank you gift with I think it's every order, but I don't know. So it's definitely certain orders. Now I have some seeds in the Brussels sprouts, and I can't tell. Yeah, okay. I have some seeds in the Brussels sprouts that are starting to break encapsulation, and that's not surprising to me. Brussels sprouts are a seedling that takes a while. These guys are only a week and a half from the point I planted them. They're not really ready to go in the ground, so we're just going to do this as basically a short update. It's still going to be one of the Monday videos because it's still part of the same series. But I want to show, this is with no fertilization. These guys are going to receive fertilization probably tomorrow morning, just before I leave my cat. So I'll give them a mild fertilization from my own fertilizer. I did a video on that, and I will touch in on that one as well. So I had a dry point where I got a cold in the middle of the week. Today's Thursday, although you'll see this, to be honest, a couple weeks from when I'm recording this. Because these right here had dried out, and I knew only 3 or 4 of them had sprouted, so I went ahead and continued to water them. These are red deer tongue lettuce, and they might not be in the camera view. No, they are. Okay. So, and that's one thing I wanted to make sure I touched on. With any seed starting kit, I don't care. If you have one dry out and you lose some seedlings, just keep watering it. Sometimes the seeds that haven't completely opened up they've absorbed water, but they haven't opened up. They may not have dried out, and that's what happened here. These deer tongues hadn't fully dried out, so these ones went ahead and popped. And this is actually one of them that had dried out, and it's actually pushing new leaves. It's one thing about lettuce that I love. It's a weed for a reason, and it's one of the greatest, in my opinion. These down here, I'm so happy about. These are the common onion chives, and I had so much trouble at the beginning of the season getting these to sprout. So I'm really, really happy about this, and I don't want to get them in the ground. I don't want to disturb them too soon. So I'm really happy to see the 8-year-old onion seeds are definitely starting to sprout. I have a sprout here. Make sure I'm in view. Yep, I have a sprout here. I have a few here. I have a couple here. That really, really made me happy. And I know that they're not these seeds. Go on. You need to go on. So that really, really makes me really happy. So we're going to move these a little bit over, and I'm going to bring over the Jiffy one. Now the Jiffy one is going to look a lot drier because it has a leak in it somewhere. Let's see. Okay. So this one, I'm having a little bit of sprouting of these onions too. That's not entirely surprising. These are burgundy onions. They're also as old as these onions, so the minor amount of sprouting I've got, which is only really barely, doesn't surprise me. I've had to go through and thin these, which is the same one as these here. Those are, let's see, this one's red chard, and this one's mixed chard. Let's see, New Zealand spinach. Those are older seeds, they are. So I'll give them quite a bit more time to see how they sprout, if they do at all. This is romaine lettuce at the very back. Pull this forward a little bit. So these very back ones, they haven't sprouted at all. So I'm not sure if they even will. I'm having some, I think the lettuce seeds actually got picked up a little bit. I know I buried them a little bit, but I'm seeing some sprouts further up in pods I hadn't seeded at all. And they're probably lettuce seeds, more than likely. And seeing as I only had one lettuce in this one, and that's part of the reason why I did it. These are a pain in the butt, and I know they are. So I have a little bit, this is from when I thinned them out, I have a little bit of cilantro coming up. It's actually pretty warm, so it doesn't really surprise me that they're not coming up real quickly. They will as time goes on. And then these ones right here are cabbage. And I've had so much trouble with white flies that I don't want to put them down too young. I've seen a little bit of flea beetles here and there. I don't want to put them down too young and have them attacked. There's some pest damage already on these guys because they are outside, but it's mostly on the caudal leaves, and the true leaves are still really healthy. So I'm trying to sorry, I have a cat who's sitting here staring at me like, you must know that I'm here and I need attention. So far, the only things I'm having that's not sprouting at all is the Brussels, but I am seeing seedlings crack and start to move down, and I wish I had a really good example of it that I could zoom in on. When a seedling first opens up, it almost reminds me of a sea snail coming out of its shell. It just has a small little tendril that'll push down into the soil. And the Brussels sprouts, that's what's going on with them. They're only barely starting to open up. And then This one, I don't have any of the New Zealand spinach sprouting or the romaine, but onions are listed as ones that the seeds go bad within a year, and I definitely have sprouting of onion seeds. These seeds are, like I said, both of these seeds are the oldest ones I have, and they are 8 years old. They, I want to say 2017 or 2018, they are much older seeds. Forgive me, my allergies are going crazy. It's been raining a lot. So what we're going to do, just because I don't want them to die in the weekend, I know it's supposed to rain a little bit here and there, but this one will still dry out. So what we're going to do is we're going to, with the burpees one, I'm going to have to take the back part off. It's not leaking, so it does have the full water that it's supposed to, and I should be fine with that. And I'll end up putting the irrigation hose into the back part of it, and then let's see if I can show a little better into this open space here, which is better if I turn the camera there. Okay, so into this open space right here. I'm a one-man show, guys. So into this open space right here where this water is. This is all rainwater, so most plants prefer rainwater, and that's because of the way people treat drinking water. But they're going to take water over no water. So I will put the irrigation line into it and then replace this one just to make sure that the irrigation line stays in place. With this one, just because of the fact that I don't want to stab it into it like I do with the beds, just out of the sheer fact that I likely have seedlings damage doing that. So I'm going to go ahead and get to that. And unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to really show with this one because I am a one-man show and I don't have someone who can hold the camera for me. So I will bring you over and let you see how it's pushed into the irrigation system. And then when these guys are a little bit bigger, we'll go ahead and do another video on how they're doing. I want to make sure that I document these guys will be receiving their first fertilizer tomorrow morning. It'll be a light, almost entirely nitrogen-based fertilizer. These guys were inoculated from my own garden with mycelium. So that's the only other thing that's been done to them. Otherwise, it's exactly as it is when you purchase it. This one right here, the Jiffy one, the Jiffy one right here does come with their fertilizer. It doesn't say what's in it. It doesn't say how much is in it. It doesn't get enough information for me to be comfortable using it, so I wouldn't recommend using it. I'd recommend using an organic fertilizer or making your own organic fertilizer. I would not use the one purchased. Anyways, I'll get into this and I'll see you back here in just a minute. All right, so this is where the burgundy bush beans had been, as well as the two zucchinis and the two, my brain does not want to work today, the two cucumbers. They have been pulled entirely because the white flies had basically completely killed them before I was able to salvage the plants. The plants were pretty much done, unfortunately. So I've gone ahead and moved this line up underneath the part of the mat that's doesn't have anything in it. That way it still receives water just in case. And this one has the line that went back there, right there, and that should, because it's slightly angled down towards the plants that are down here, it should keep these guys watered for the next couple of days. I will be coming home on Monday, but we're not going to be home otherwise. So that's how those will be. And I wanted to give the update on the seedlings, let everybody see how they've progressed in the week and a half. It's been basically a week, I think, almost to the day actually, but I'll have to look at the seed dates, and those are in the house right now. The tomatoes, because the whiteflies were so heavy on the cucurbits, the tomatoes are fine. I gotta go through and trim off some of the dead, but these are not indeterminate, these are determinate tomatoes, so it's just removing diseased leaves and it'll be fine. Anyways, I'm going to end this video here because this is the main thing I needed to do, was do an update on how the seedlings are progressing and how the pods are going to need to be handled for while I go over the weekend. And I will see you on the next one. If you have any questions about either of these two products, feel free to comment down below. I do my best to answer all of my comments. I do read all of my comments. It does really help me to make videos that are more appealing to the audience that I have, as to what they would like to see when it comes to these. These are both similar items, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to do this video, well, this series of videos I should say, is because a lot of times when I consult with new gardeners, this is what they're using without fail. It's one of these two items, more often the Jiffy item, and probably next week when I go to do that recording, these ones in the Jiffy one right here will be big enough to go ahead and start planting, and I will show you how to safely remove that mesh from around the root base, as I've done it. I don't actively use these. I used them one time, and because I've had people that have asked for consultation use them, I've learned how to remove that thing instead of putting it in your yard and having it everywhere. Anyways, I really do hope you liked this video, and I will see you on the next one. And next week we'll be looking at these guys a little bit bigger.